Hi, this is Michael Wall from the Minnesota Secretary of State's office, here to just go over a few things about voter outreach work in 2020. Some of it you may know, some of it you may not, but we really appreciate the work that you do and hope that we can support you through it. One, you may have heard of the Ballot Bowl, the statewide Minnesota Collegiate voter registration competition. It has changed, it has gotten better. It's now called Minnesota's Democracy Cup, and it is sponsored by our office, Lead MN, Students United, the Association of Private College Students. It's every 2-year, 4-year public, private, and instead of being voter registration, this is going to be based on voter turnout from now on. We get the NSOLV data. You get to see how well you're doing year to year or election to election on your campus, and we get to support you doing better and better each time. And if you haven't seen them, huge silver cups as awards. It's going to be fun. We have a ton of resources, all the associations and our office. We look forward to helping you for August perhaps, but definitely for November. We'll check in with you about sign up. We'll talk to administration about using the data, and it's for anyone registered to vote on your campus. So let's get them registered, and no matter where they vote in the country, they will be counted. We have tons of resources for you. We can develop resources for you. So we'll be talking more with you throughout the spring and summer and into the fall. Something to note, just realize that current leadership has the experience, has the memory, and the contacts to be the best source of how to do voter outreach on campus for the fall. So make sure that before they leave, that students who are currently there and have been involved help with the transition and with some tips and suggestions for the fall. I know you're working on campus plans. It's fabulous. Take your time, work things out, include as many areas of campus, any other student groups, be inclusive, and be as comprehensive as you can with your plan. When you're thinking about communications for voter outreach and other civic engagement work, think about networks that others have. Use their networks to get through to people you may not be able to. The administration, different departments, publications, they all reach different people. Utilize them. It's a great way to get messaging out. Social media, certainly. You know what people are using, maybe what's new, what people aren't using anymore. The idea of exponential growth for communications. Not only do you want to reach out to as many as you can, but ask those people in your networks to reach out to their networks. Share that information, and also ask them to ask the people in their networks to reach out to the people in their networks, and on and on. You can reach lots and lots of people that way. Consider where you can place links and information on the college website, on Student Senate, clubs, anywhere that you can put out the word and links to get people registered, people requesting absentee ballots, the better. Sporting events, other things on campus, you know what people go to. Social distancing has made everyone use Zoom or other platforms, so use them. Offer how-to workshops. You can pre-record, you can make them live, give people a chance to ask questions. There are lots of things that people will benefit by knowing, and you can get the word out to them. Few voting basics, and on the right of these slides, you'll see the fact sheets that we have. We hope that you will go to mnvotes.org and get some electronic versions of these and spread the word on process of voting, on other things you'll see. Let's take a look. But the first question when someone is registering, or when you're trying to get someone to register, is who can register. So be familiar with eligibility and the process. If they are living either in town or on campus, rather than commuting from where home might have been, make sure that students know that they have the choice of where they consider their residence and where they register to vote. More information on that fact sheet. Make sure if someone is planning on voting at their polling place that they get pre-registered. They don't have to in Minnesota. It's great to have election day registration, but it's easier and faster on election day if they're pre-registered. That's at least 3 weeks before, and the dates are there. And the organizers of the Voter Summit will have this whole presentation to pass out to you. Pre-registration, we talked about it. If you're pre-registered, you don't need to bring anything to the polling place. If you're not and you need to register that day, then you need to bring proof of who you are and where you live. Just a note that people with a felony on their record aren't necessarily excluded from voting. If they have finished their entire sentence, including probation or parole, they are eligible to vote, to register, and then to vote in Minnesota. Get familiar with the form, the voter registration form. People have questions. It's the same questions, by the way, on the paper form as it is online. So make sure that you understand the different fields. Know that on the paper form that all of the shaded fields are required and the white ones or non-shaded ones are not. If they're filling out a paper form, check legibility and check that it's complete. If they're using the online form to register, the form will do it for you. Election day registration, we talked about, you have to prove who you are and where you live. And the fact sheet lays out all of the different choices people have legally to prove those things. 2020 is going to be so much about absentee voting. Voting by mail, you can vote early absentee, but we're really talking about voting by mail using an absentee ballot. We are going to be pushing that huge this year. You get the absentee ballot mailed to you. You don't have to leave your house or go into an office. You've got time to fill it out and to get it back. There are things to know, but it's going to be, I think, huge, we think, in 2020, and people are going to want to hear about how to get it done. Absentee ballot instructions, there's the link. There are lots of things to know. It's kind of like an IKEA setup. You're going to want to make sure you have all the materials you're supposed to have when you get an absentee ballot, and read through the instructions before doing anything. Another thing, have your witness lined up. Just like we encourage people to make a plan for election day, have a plan for filling out the absentee ballot. And that includes having a witness, someone who's registered to vote in Minnesota, or someone who's a notary public, or with the authority to administer oaths. There aren't a ton of those, I think, but notary public or registered Minnesota voter. And by the way, when someone's filling out an application for absentee ballot, encourage them to put both their Minnesota ID number and the last 4 digits of their social security number, because when you fill out the signature envelope for an absentee ballot to send it back, you need to match one that was on your application. So if they put both in the application, easy to make sure it's matched. You don't have to remember which one you did. And absentee ballots can be tracked. You can find out exactly where they are, the application, has it been mailed? Have they received your absentee ballot? Has your vote been put into the tabulator? Just remember and remind others that absentee ballots have to be by election day, received by your county elections office. Not postmarked, it's actually received by election day. So a little earlier is better there, just in case. make sure that students on your campus and people in the community know their rights. Um, the Know Your Rights fact sheet outlines the Minnesota Voters Bill of Rights that's in statute, but things like if they're going to the polling place that they, as long as they're in line by 8 o'clock, doesn't matter how late it gets, they have the right to vote. Being able to bring a sample ballot into the polling place is another one that I love. Right to get paid time off to go vote. So become familiar with that and let others know. And take a look at our website, the elections and voting area of the Secretary of State's website, mnvotes.org. There's so much information there. We get complimented by other state agencies about how good our website is. So be familiar and check that out. And if you have any questions, if you want any resources, if you want us to help put on a meeting, anything, contact our office, along with any of the associations that I talked about. But we are here to help you and to get you resources and to support you in any way we can. My contact information is in here, and we really appreciate everything that you do on your campuses, both voting wise and other things. But all sorts of civic engagement is great. Thank you for everything you do, and thanks for listening.